How's it going, everybody? You know who it is. My name is Sanwoo, and in today's video I'm going to show you 3 OPZ secrets. Number 1, the hidden bandpass filter. As you probably already know, each of the tracks inside the OPZ has a DJ style filter that can be either a low pass filter or a high pass filter. Of course, if you had 2 of these, you could create a bandpass filter of your own, and this is exactly what we're gonna do now. Of course, I should have mentioned first that this trick only works if you have the line module installed in your OPZ. The other tricks will work on any stock OPZ. And as always, before we continue to make some magic, I'm gonna have a bottle of Magic Mind. I've had one of these every day with my morning coffee for a few weeks now, and I can really say it prolongs the positive effects of coffee, like giving you energy, focus, and creativity, as well as reducing the negative side effects like anxiety and jitters, and therefore helps me to stay creative throughout the whole day. And on top of that, the founder of this is an avid OP1 user and fan of this channel himself, which is how I got this opportunity. So if you want to support the channel and stay creative, check out Magic Mind. Link and coupon code down in the description. Enjoy. So right now I have the line module installed, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug a stereo cable from the audio output into the audio input, or rather the other way around, because this is the input, this is the output. So now we have the output hooked to the input. That means anything that will be sent to the output will get back to the input, and I can control this from the module track. This is my sound without any routing enabled. Now I go to the module track and send this track to the output, and therefore back in through the module track. With, without, with, without. Now the next step is I want to mute this original audio from the track, because right now we are hearing both of the signals, the original track as well as the audio fed back through the input through the module track, which is why we get this phasing doubled sound. What I can do now is press the mixer and shift, and now mute the original audio, but still send it out to the output and therefore back in. And now you are hearing only the audio that's coming through the module track. So I could go to the module track now and enable a high pass filter, for example. Like this. But I can also go back to the original track and still apply a low pass filter. And therefore we have essentially achieved a bandpass filter. Because low pass plus high pass makes a bandpass filter. But of course, this doesn't only allow us to create a bandpass filter, but we can also process the 2 different signals in a very interesting way. So let's do that. Let's not make it as intense of a difference. So I'm gonna go to the module track, which has the high passed signal, and I'm gonna give it some delay. And maybe also apply some panning with an LFO. So let's see what else we can do. Crank up the resonance. Let's go to the original track and adjust it a little bit. And maybe the original track, rather than sending it to the delay, we can send to the reverb. And also apply some kind of LFO here. Or actually, let's leave this. But we can edit the delay a little bit as well. And you can see that if I play the voice and change the high pass filter of the module track, I can really separate the two different voices that are actually coming from the same voice. Also, of course, I can apply an LFO on the module track to another parameter like the volume. So it fades in and out. Or also to the filter frequency, which sounds super interesting. Yeah, and this way we can create super interesting voices just by feeding back the output into the input and applying another filter and some modulation. All right, and next up, secret number 2, the tape delay warble. First, we've got our sequence the same, but I don't have any routing through the module track active anymore. This is the sequence. I'm gonna slow it way down. And I'm gonna turn the delay up all the way. Okay, and now we'll go to our delay track. And here, all the keys down here are setting the time for our delay. So right now it's on 1. If I switch it to 4, the delay time will be longer. A bit shorter. And down here, we got even shorter delays on the white keys, starting with something that sounds almost like Carplus Strong. And as you probably heard, as I changed the delay speed or the delay time, the pitch is also shifting every time. Pitch goes up. Pitch goes down. And this behavior is to be expected of a delay of this sort. And of course, we can use this to our advantage to create even more interesting effects than just a simple delay. First off, let's speed up the sequence a little bit and go back to our delay. This delay is way too long. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to step sequence these delay times. Yes, we can also do that. We can record any of these notes, meaning the different delay times, into the step sequencer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to step record this timing, and then I'm going to shorten the sequence to just 2 steps. So it flips back and forth between this delay time and this delay time. And as you can hear, this sounds pretty crazy already. And what we can do now is we can play with the step length of this track, meaning the time it takes for one step to play will be shorter or longer. And this will also, of course, change the movement from one delay time to the other. So let's make it shorter or longer. And you can hear, you can get all kinds of sounds out of this. And of course, it completely depends on what tape speeds or what delay speeds rather you have entered from the get-go. And you can get all kinds of combinations. So let's choose a different one. The further your delay times are apart from one another, the crazier the pitch shifts will get. So if I just choose ones that are next to each other, it won't be as extreme, but say I choose a bigger difference in tape speed. So first this one, then this one. And let's make the movement between them faster. You can hear this goes quite mental. Let's choose these two maybe. Too much for my taste. I think it works best around here and then tape speeds that are right next to one another. You can hear there's just a slight shift in the speed and in the pitch. And now what we can also do is apply an LFO to this delay and make it go from left to right. Which I think creates a very, very interesting sound, almost a chorus effect. Again, let's play with the speed. Maybe change the delay time once again. And of course, if I select longer delay times like these up here, you can get effects that almost sound like the cow effect on the OP1. So as you can hear, intense pitch shifts combined with a delay. Again, all kinds of combinations are possible. This one, for example, I think sounds nice. Or it did sound nice for a second. This is my little delay hack that makes use of the shifting delay times in order to create all kinds of pitch shifting, phasing, chorusy-like effects, and something like a pitch warble that you would get on a vinyl player or all these vinyl plugins. And with that being said, let's move on to the third tip, gated steps. One of the many great features of the OPZ, in my opinion, is how easily you can change the length of a certain track, or rather the length of a certain step, how long these steps are playing for, basically. So if I play a sequence, right now my step length is 4. If I change it to 1, it will be 4 times as fast. Half it. And this over here is our longest possible length for the steps, and therefore this makes our sequence quite long already. But maybe this isn't even enough for you and you want this sequence to run even slower. It is certainly possible to do that. For example, you would want to do this on the master track, for example, to have very long chord progressions, but we're going to do it here now. And the way to do this is to press track and shift and set this track to 0. If I press play now, you see that actually nothing is happening, and that's because this track is now set to receive a gate step. a step that tells this track to advance one more step. So all we have to do now is we go to any other track, let's say the kick drum track, and I'm going to use a step component on the first step, use the jump component, and set it to 0. And now I've activated a gate step right here. This step will tell my other track to advance one more step. So each time this is played, this track will advance one more step. So since this is a sequence of 16 steps, it will start every time this repeats. But now theoretically, I can make this sequence even longer by changing its step length. As you can tell, it takes quite a while, and if I set it to 8, we can wait here for another minute or so until the next step of this sequence will get triggered. And wait for it. And it played, and so on. If I go back to the kick drum track, you will see it takes until it gets back here for this other track to move on another step. So this is a very useful feature, for example, if you want to create long chord progressions with your master track, or say you want to create some sort of ambient song that goes on for very, very long and the changes happen just super slowly. And of course, if you combine this step component with other step components, you can create more random sequences and have a sequence trigger very irregularly in some ways. So certainly a very nice and overlooked feature. I'm going to try to use it in more of my future songs and see how it can be useful for me. And with that being said, I hope this video was useful to you. If you want to learn more about the OPZ, OP1 and music making in general, feel free to contact me for private online lessons. Link up there or down in the description. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more like it, check the playlist over there. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe and ring the bell. And don't forget to check out Magic Mind, link and coupon code down in the description.